Dorothy Kessler is 79, and she was a girl during the war, standing on a stool beside her mother, learning to make one ration book feed 6 people. Last year, watching her own grocery bill climb past $500 a month, she went back to the exact rules her mother used in 1943. Within 2 months, she was spending hundreds less. Same meals, same table, nothing skipped. Her mother fed a family through rationing and never wasted a crumb. The one rule that mattered most is number 1 on this list. These aren't new money tricks. They're the grocery rules a 1940s kitchen ran on, buried for 80 years because abundance told us waste was normal. Now, with prices climbing, they're coming back, and the seniors reviving them are saving hundreds every single month. Dorothy's mother's rules run through everything that follows. Number 16 is money you already spent and then throw in the trash. Number 9 is a rule the whole country was ordered to follow in 1943. And number 1 is the rule that carried Dorothy's family through the leanest years America ever rationed. These 20 rules aren't about going without. They're about wasting nothing. Hit that subscribe button. Let's count them down. Number 20. Plan the meals before you spend a dime. In the 1940s, you did not shop and then decide what to cook. You planned first because the ration points forced it. You sit down once a week, plan 7 suppers, and build the grocery list from the plan. Households that shop from a plan consistently spend 15 to 25% less, mostly by buying only what they will actually use. Dorothy plans her week at the kitchen table now, pencil on a pad, the way her mother laid out meals against the ration book. Her mother could stretch a week's points across 7 dinners without a single gap. Not rigid. The difference between running the kitchen and letting it run you. Number 19. Shop your own pantry first. Before you write a single item on the list, you look at what you already own. In wartime, nothing was bought that was already on the shelf because every point counted. You shop the pantry, the fridge, and the freezer first, and build the week's meals around what's already there. A pantry first week every month or 2 clears out what would otherwise expire. The first time Dorothy did it, she found 3 cans of the same soup and a bag of rice behind the flour. Her mother knew every item in that cellar by heart. Not deprivation, eating what you already paid for before buying more. Number 18. Waste absolutely nothing. The government posters said it plainly in 1943. Use every part of an ingredient and make only enough to be eaten. You keep a container in the freezer for vegetable ends and bones and turn them into stock. The stale bread becomes crumbs or pudding. The last of the roast becomes tomorrow's soup. The average household throws away around $125 a month in food already bought and paid for. Dorothy saves every scrap now, the way her mother could not bear to waste a thing during the war. Not thrift for its own sake, refusing to throw money you already spent into the trash. Number 17. Cook from scratch. Skip the box. The convenience version always costs several times the ingredients inside it. In the 1940s, there was no other way. You made it yourself, or you went without. You keep flour, not the mix. Real potatoes, not the boxed flakes. A pot of oats, not the little packets. A pound of dried beans costs about $2 and makes a week of meals. Dorothy's big pot of soup runs $1 or $2 and feeds her all week, steaming up the window the way her mother's did. Wartime cooks made everything by hand out of necessity. Not more work than it's worth. The same food, minus the company's cut. Number 16. Freeze it before it spoils, not after. Cooking for 1 or 2 wastes food when half of it goes bad first. So you freeze aggressively, bread, cheese, cooked rice, soups, chopped vegetables, meat bought on sale. A $3 loaf of bread lasts 3 weeks if you freeze half of it the day you bring it home. In the 1940s, the canning jar did this job. Today, the freezer does it faster. Dorothy's freezer is a row of labeled, dated containers, each one a meal saved from the trash. Her mother sealed the summer into jars so nothing was lost, not leftovers going bad in the back. Future meals held in the cold. Number 15. Stretch the meat with beans and cheese. In the war, meat was rationed, so cooks learned to make a little go far, and it is the single fastest way to cut a grocery bill today. You move meat from the center of the plate to the side and bulk the meal up with dried beans, lentils, eggs, or cheese. Wartime cookbooks recommended cheese and beans as meat substitutes outright. A pot of beans with a little ham feeds more people than the ham ever could alone. Dorothy eats a bean or egg supper several nights a week now. Her mother made a Sunday roast last until Wednesday. Not going without protein, buying the protein that doesn't overcharge you. Number 14. Buy the loss leaders and build meals around them. Every store runs a few items at a deep loss to get you in the door, and the smart shopper builds the week around exactly those. You read the weekly ad first, see what's marked down, chicken, pasta, apples, whatever it is, and plan your suppers around the sale, not the other way around. In the 1940s, you cooked what was available that week, not what a recipe demanded. Dorothy shapes her whole menu around what's cheapest that week. Her mother cooked entirely by what the ration and the season allowed, not a coupon to clip, letting the sale decide the menu. Here's what Dorothy understood the moment she went back to her mother's rules, and it's bigger than any single tip. Her mother was not a woman coping with scarcity. She was a woman in complete command of it. She ran that wartime kitchen like an operation, every point accounted for, every scrap used, every meal planned days ahead, and she did it so well that 6 people ate through years of rationing and never felt poor. Then the war ended, abundance arrived, and the country was taught to forget all of it. Waste became a sign you'd made it. Convenience became a sign you were modern. The skill Dorothy's mother was proud of got quietly renamed as something only poor people needed, but it was never that. It was the most competent household management this country ever produced, and it was sitting unused in Dorothy's own memory the whole time.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. Guides for people like us who still believe the old ways mattered. They're the forgotten money habits our grandparents lived by, tricks that could save you thousands a year. But this knowledge is disappearing, and once it's gone for good. I've put together 2 books for you plus a free bonus. Imagine how much you could save over the next year by starting today. Scan the QR code on screen now or click the link below. I'll wait.
Number 13. Grow a little of your own food. By 1943, Victory Gardens supplied 40% of the fresh vegetables Americans ate. You do not need a farm. A few pots on a balcony or a sunny windowsill will grow the things you buy most. Tomatoes, lettuce, herbs, peppers, all from a nickel packet of seeds. Growing even a little cuts real money off the produce bill and tastes better besides. Dorothy grows tomatoes and herbs in containers on her patio now and picks them warm. Her family's Victory Garden fed them through the war years, not a hobby to fill an afternoon. A grocery aisle you grow yourself. Number 12. Put up the cheap season for the dear one. When produce was in season and nearly free, the wartime housewife canned it for winter. In a January 1944 poll, 75% of housewives canned, and they put up an average of 165 jars a year. You buy or grow the summer surplus when it's cheapest and freeze or can it. For the months the same food costs triple. Dorothy freezes flats of berries and cans tomatoes every August now. Her mother's cellar shelves glowed with jars she'd sealed herself. Not old-fashioned busy work, buying food at its lowest price and eating it at its highest. Number 11. Compare the unit price, not the sticker. The price on the front of the package tells you almost nothing. The number that matters is the small one on the shelf tag, the price per ounce or per pound. You check it every time, because the value size isn't always the value, and for a senior living alone, the giant package often spoils before it's finished. Store brands run 25 to 40% less than name brands for the identical thing. Dorothy reads the unit price on every tag now and buys the store brand on anything identical. Her mother weighed every purchase down to the point. Not tedious. The one habit that tells you the truth about which package is actually cheaper. Number 10. Keep the coffee and the extras from bleeding you. Coffee was rationed to under a cup a day in the war, so people stretched it. Chicory was added to make a weak pot taste strong. You make your coffee at home and carry it in a thermos instead of buying it out at $2 or $3 a cup. The same goes for bottled water when the tap is already paid for. Dorothy brews her pot each morning and fills a thermos, and set a filter pitcher in the icebox in place of the plastic cases. Her mother stretched one tin of coffee across a month. Not going without, refusing to pay a premium for what home already gives you. Number 9. Eat one meatless meal a week, on purpose. In 1943, the whole country was asked to observe meatless days to conserve supply, and it stuck as one of the era's lasting habits. Meat is the most expensive thing in most carts, so one deliberate meatless supper a week is real money saved with no sacrifice in nutrition. A vegetable pie, a bean soup, macaroni and cheese, wartime kitchens made these the center of the table. Dorothy keeps a meatless night every week now and barely notices it. Her family ate meatless Tuesdays for years without complaint. Not a hardship. One night a week, the most expensive item never enters the pot. Number 8. Use cheese and eggs as the main event. During rationing, macaroni and cheese became a wartime hit precisely because it was filling, cheap, and cost few ration points. Eggs and cheese are among the least expensive proteins in the store and can anchor a whole meal on their own. You build suppers around them a night or two a week, a cheese strata from day-old bread, an egg supper, beans baked with a little cheese on top. Dorothy leans on eggs and cheese now the way the wartime cookbooks taught. Her mother made a block of cheese stretch across a dozen dinners. Not filler. The cheapest hot meal on the table. Now, go back to the winter of 1944, because this is the memory that sent Dorothy back to the old rules. Her father was overseas. Her mother was raising 6 children alone on an allotment check that never quite covered the month, and the ration book made every ounce of sugar, meat, and coffee a decision. Dorothy remembers her mother sitting at the kitchen table on Sunday nights with the ration stamps spread out and a pencil, planning the entire week down to the last point. What would be canned? What would be stretched? What would be done without? There was never quite enough, and yet the 6 of them ate 3 meals a day, every day, all the way through. Dorothy did not understand until she was grown how close to the edge those years had been, because her mother never once let it show at the table. That memory is what she reached for last year when her own bill climbed. She wasn't being nostalgic. She was reaching for the one thing she'd ever seen truly work. Number 7. Set a fixed shopping cadence. You do not run to the store every time you think of something. In the war, trips were limited by gas rationing, so you planned one real shop and made it count. You set a cadence, one major trip a week, one small top-up if you truly need it, and you stick to it. Every extra trip is a fresh chance to overspend on things you never planned. Dorothy shops once a week now with her list and skips the constant little runs. Her mother made every trip to town count because fuel was precious, not inconvenient. One planned trip instead of 5 impulse ones. Number 6. Share and pool with a neighbor. In wartime, neighbors pooled ration coupons, split Victory Garden harvests, and traded what they had. For a senior today, bulk is cheaper but spoils for one person, so you split it. You team up with a neighbor and divide the big bag of rice, the flat of eggs, the warehouse pack. Both get the bulk price, and neither wastes it. Dorothy and the woman next door split their big buys at the kitchen table every month. Her mother's whole block shared across the fence to make it through, not dependence, the right amount at the bulk price, shared over coffee. Number 5. Learn the markdown rack and the markdown hour. Every store has a reduced for quick sale rack and a time of day it marks things down. Bread, meat, and produce near the sell-by date get cut to a fraction and are perfectly good to eat or freeze that day. You ask a clerk when your store marks down, and you shop that window. Dorothy learned hers does meat in the morning and heads for the orange stickers first. Her mother never passed up a bargain the grocer needed to move. Not day-old junk, full-quality food the store simply needs to sell today. Number 4. Mend the habit of the best by panic. Wartime cooks knew food didn't spoil the instant a date passed because there were no such dates, and you used your eyes and your nose. Most best buy and sell by labels mark quality, not safety, and throwing food out on the date alone is throwing money away. You learn the difference and you trust your senses. Dorothy stopped tossing good eggs and yogurt the day the calendar said to, and her waist dropped again. Her mother judged food by smell and sight her whole life, not reckless, refusing to let a printed date empty your refrigerator into the bin. Number 3. Know what things actually cost. You keep a small notebook of the regular prices of the 15 things you buy most. Milk, eggs, bread, coffee, your staples. Once you know the real number, a fake sale is obvious at a glance, and a special is only a deal if you know what sits underneath it. Dorothy keeps her list in her purse and checks it against the tags, and she's caught a dozen sales priced above the regular shelf price. Her mother carried every price in her head and could not be fooled at any counter. Not obsessive. The one habit that makes every marketing trick in the store useless. Number 2. Want less and make do. Underneath every rule sat the wartime motto: use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. It applied to the kitchen most of all. You did not crave what you could not have, and you made a fine meal from what was in front of you. A person who does not crave cannot be sold to, and cannot be talked into the expensive convenience item at the end of the aisle. Dorothy stopped shopping by craving and started shopping by plan. Her mother made contentment out of exactly what the ration allowed, not going without, the quiet freedom of not being for sale. Number 1. Use everything and let nothing leave the kitchen wasted. Here is the rule that carried Dorothy's family through the war, and it is the sum of all the others. Nothing edible was ever thrown away. The bone became broth, the scraps became soup, the stale bread became the next meal, the roast stretched across 3 days, and what could not be eaten fresh was canned, frozen, or handed to a neighbor. Add up everything on this list: the meal planning, the store brands, the meatless nights, the food saved from the trash, and it lands not at a few dollars, but at hundreds of dollars a month for a senior who commits to it. But it only works because of the one rule underneath. In that kitchen, waste was the enemy, and every scrap was money. Dorothy's mother fed 6 people through the leanest years this country ever rationed and never wasted a crumb. And everything Dorothy needed to cut her own bill in half, her mother had taught her 70 years before she finally sat down and remembered. Use it up. Waste nothing. Save the difference. None of this required a bigger check, a financial advisor, or a single dollar Dorothy didn't already hold. It required attention, the willingness to look at food and money plainly, without shame and without fantasy. The generation that fed families through a world war understood something the modern world spent 80 years trying to forget. Comfort is not the same as security. Convenience is not the same as freedom. The ability to buy anything you want is worthless beside the ability to waste almost nothing. Dorothy Kessler cut hundreds of dollars off her monthly bill and gave up not one thing she loved to eat. She simply stopped throwing money in the trash. Her mother ran a wartime kitchen on a ration book and a pencil and never let her children feel the lack. And on her street, she was not the exception. She was the rule. They were never the poor ones. We are the ones who forgot how to use everything we already had.